Well, we should do the show because this movie's 2 hours and 4 minutes long, even though there's about 8 minutes of credits.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk very long about it.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
Each week on this podcast, we ask you to like or subscribe so that we might build our following.
To be clear, sometimes we ask it, sometimes we don't. Generally, when it's asked, it's too late to matter. But today is a good day, Dan Goodsell. Well done.
And to garner your praise and love, we talk about a movie. And occasionally, we take the time and pick a movie that someone might have seen or might be thinking about seeing.
Occasionally, not usually. So don't get comfortable.
And Tony, why don't you tell us about the movie that we've decided to do?
Oh boy, this is a
week.
big one. This is, big budget blockbuster, the cinematic climax of the DCEU, sort of, but not really at all. Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom.
Yeah, they brought back Aquaman. They brought back his mom. They brought back Mira. They brought back
Kinda
weird bonus king guy who's, I don't think we ever even hear his name.
Dolph Lundgren, is that who you're talking about?
Was that Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah, it's Mira's dad. That's Dolph Lundgren, baby. He's the best part of these movies.
He was terrible. He was very terrible.
Dan, we're done. I'm turning off the podcast. I'm clicking stop and we're done.
He's very terrible. They brought back Orm.
Yeah.
What's that
Thank God for that, to be
Patrick
honest.
something or other?
Patrick Wilson.
I mean, I did not care for him in the first movie.
Nope. They didn't give him anything to do.
This movie, he actually had stuff to do, and you were like, man, if you'd have made this movie about what he and Aquaman have to do together, it could have been a good movie.
Sure, yeah. Kind of like what we were talking about last week. If you turn any movie into a buddy cop movie, it's a better movie. This would have benefited a great deal of just being a buddy adventure movie instead of whatever gobbledygook we got.
You know, the thing I'll say about this movie, you go woke, you go broke. Listen. This might be the wokest movie since Happy Feet.
You think so?
Has there been a movie as woke as this one? This movie was so...
I feel like there has been. People get mad all the time. There has to have been something worse. But because here's my counterpoint to that is it's nobody cares in the movie. You know what I mean?
You mean they give lip service to the woke agenda of the movie, but you don't really buy that they
really care about it. Yeah. So like they just kind of talk about it offhand to stir up some sort of controversy and be like, pay attention to our movie. Look at the things we're talking about. But they don't deal with it or care.
Well, I mean, how they talk about it in the movie, just like from a standpoint of how you should talk about stuff like this in a movie, it's so bad.
It's bad, but you know what? This is what I'm going to say about it. It didn't upset me like that End of the World movie we watched. What was that? The
Don't Look Up?
Yeah, Don't Look Up. That movie does it in a way that's like in your face and like you have to agree with this. We are woke. Sure. We are smarter than you. This movie is just like, I don't know, what's like a hot button topic we could talk about and not deal with just so people can get up in arms about it.
You're right. It was lip service and you were just like, you just shake your head and be like, why are you even wasting your time doing it's like,
I don't know.
It's not like the people making the movie really care. You're right. They didn't care about it.
Exactly. Yes.
Which I don't know if that's a worse sin of pushing something forward which you don't care about, or caring about a thing and pushing it forward so horribly that you hate the people who have that opinion.
I guess it just depends on how you feel personally. Because me personally, I hate being pandered to. So I'm gonna look at Don't Look Up and just want to punch everyone in the face. But I look at something like this and I'm just like, You guys are silly. Anyhow, let's get back to the CGI that is 99% of the movie.
I guess the issue is that the wokeness, it's just you being dumb. It's like, you're being dumb. You don't need this.
You don't need it. This is not necessary to your plot whatsoever. Not that there's a plot, but it's just there to be there, and it's kind of awkward.
And that's the thing about science fiction. Science fiction is this great place to sort of deal with allegories. And basically in this movie, there's a whole climate change thing, which we will talk about. And the bad guys are sort of causing climate change. And then at the end, the Atlanteans are like, we're going to help you fix climate change. As opposed to the Atlanteans having to deal with their own concept of climate change caused by their people. Where you're like, oh, look at them going through something, and then this is the way they react to it, and solve. They have their Atlantean Donald Trump, who is like saying dumb things. And we're like, oh wow, I'm smart. I know that that's supposed to be a stupid politician that's causing problems. But instead, this movie's like, the cause of all problems are these things, and then we'll just use super science to fix them.
Super science.
Like in the Marvel movies, you have Wakanda that has super science, but they don't say we're just fixing everything in the world with our super science.
Which is funny that you bring that up, because this movie, it has a lot of Black Panther in it, to be honest with you. It's a mixture of Black Panther and every Star Wars prequel sequel ever.
Oh wow! I didn't make any of those connections. I mean,
you didn't make any of those. You didn't make the Star Wars connection. This movie wants to be Star Wars so hard, Dan.
Really?
Star Wars in the sea. In fact, I wrote down jokes last night because I was so bored. Aquaman 2. Wait, hold on. Let me start again. Aquaman, Episode 2, Attack of the Clownfish, Revenge of the Fish, The Phantom Mackerel, The Flounder Menace, Aquaman 2, The Wand Song, The Ray of Exposition. I wrote down a bunch of just jokes because I was so bored by the movie that all I wanted to do was compare it to Star Wars. There's a character that is literally Jabba the Hutt, just laying down on his fat side, and they come up to this, we're in this little bar area. Oh, we're in the scoundrel area. Oh, look, it's Jabba the Hutt.
It is Jabba the Hutt. And I mean, literally, they show him from a lot, because I'm just watching on my computer screen. It's like, of course. Is that Jabba the Hutt? I mean, because you're like, I thought he was laying, and did he have two female attendants attending to him?
He had some ladies, but he also had some dudes. So, it wasn't exactly Jabba, but I called him Jabba the Halibut. That's 10 points right there. Ka-ching! There's a lot. And then there's a, I don't know how you say this, so we might get in a battle, an AT-AT, or are you in the AT-AT camp?
They're called AT-ATs.
Okay, well, I'm in the AT-AT camp, so I'm going to say that from here on out, just real quickly. There's a moment, Dan, where they're under...
Steven Spielberg calls them AT-ATs.
Spielberg didn't direct the film, Dan. Okay. As soon as George Lucas comes at me and says it's AT-AT, I'm going to stick with AT-AT.
Are we talking about the octopods?
Yes, and they're fighting, and Orn grabs a chain and throws it around its legs and trips it. And I was like, this is Hoth, except for instead of a cool X-Wing speeder type fight, they're like, what if a guy just threw it? That doesn't have to make sense, but let's just have him throw it. It's terrible. This movie's bad.
Yeah, I think there's a huge conservation of momentum issue with how that works.
Science. Don't worry about it.
Is his name Orn or Orm? Is it an N or an M? Well, look that up.
I honestly, do you want me to look it up? All right.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out. You keep talking, I'll figure it out.
So we start the movie, Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom. There's some guys are trying to pirate a container ship. Aquaman comes on his glowing seahorse.
It's an M.
Yeah, it's Orm.
Orm. Got it. Yeah, copy.
Okay. So stop screwing that up. So here comes Aquaman on his seahorse. He jumps out there. He punches the guys. And they're like, yay, Aquaman, that's what he does. And then we find out that he's got to be king of Atlantis. And his brother's in chains. Right? We have this great image of my brother's in chains. We quickly find out he's not in chains. He's in a jail in the desert. Mm.
which is very confusing to me.
Wouldn't you just
in general.
Wouldn't you just set up where he's at, where we're going to see him, and the condition he's in now?
Yes.
I mean,
like at some point there was a prison transfer and they exchanged something and he went to a desert instead of the water, but we don't get to know any of that. So we see him for the first time underwater in a prison of some sort. And then the next time we see him, he's 104 years old and he's in the desert.
Yeah, he's got chain around his neck and it like goes to 6 different points and he's all like, but that's not how he's actually in prison. That was just the prison transport, which, you know. Yeah. So he's got to be the king, and he's got to sit through meetings, but occasionally he gets to go to a cage fight with a monster.
Is this like a Colosseum type of deal? Like I don't even understand what's happening.
We watched some movie, one of these superhero movies that was terrible. And so I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch Thor Ragnarok, the battle scene in the arena. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch that. Yeah. I watched it. It's a 10 out of 10. It's just like, it's a great fight scene. There's comedy. There's character. There's everything.
That is, Dan, character. To do a good fight scene, there needs to be character moments.
Yeah, so he's the king.
That's it.
He's unhappy. Okay, we go back.
He's unhappy. And one more thing. More thing, Dan. This sea government that never existed in the first one and is magically in the second one, also very Star Wars to me.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It's a whole stupid government. That means you can say there's a government that is government stuff.
I'm surprised there wasn't talks about like trade routes and blockades.
Hey! The Trade Federation is the best part of the prequels.
No,
thank you very much.
I agree.
Do not mock the Trade Federation. They're the only good thing in those prequels. That and Jar Jar Binks.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jar Jar Binks.
So racist.
Is it racist that I did it, you think?
Oh yeah, you're super.
Even though I'm doing interesting, so I apologize to everyone.
Tony, if you put on blackface and did like a minstrel show,
hold on, I would never do that. Let's preface that I would never do that.
Same thing. Okay, so we find out that he's had a kid with Mira. There's the kid. His dad's there. The kid pees in his mouth a bunch of times, and then the kid controls fish.
Why does he pee in his mouth? A joke? Yeah, why is that still a joke we use? I feel like we used that 40 years ago. Is it just so relatable? I don't have kids.
I think what it is there's like a certain kind of perverted person that loves that, and so then they'll buy any movie that happens in, so they slip that into a lot of movies because they know there's like this, percentile of people that will buy a movie because of that kind of fucking freaky content. I think that's what it is.
Crystal clear.
Peeing in Jason Momoa's mouth. Just sign me up.
Got it. Okay.
I send the Blu-rays. Give me 2. I better keep 2 in case there's they try and steal all my media.
My media.
And I'm like, I'm proud of my kid. And we're like, where's Mira in all this? Well, what Mira's going to do is she probably shot more than 4 days.
Yes.
So you think more than 4 days?
More
than 4 days, less than 2 weeks?
I mean, I don't know the answer to when this happened, but a lot of her stuff got cut after the Depp trial. So I don't know if it was stuff that was already in the can and they just cut that, or if it was in the script and they cut it and we're just like, don't worry about fixing it. Do you know what I mean?
Because she is very much not in this movie. Thankfully, I mean, I have no problem with that. She's good choice.
She's terrible. She's awful. And when she shows up, I'm like, you should have stayed gone. But at the same time, when she comes and when she's not there, doesn't make any sense in the world that they've created.
She just sort of pops up for a second. And then,
yep. And you're like, that's right. You're a person. Yes.
And then, what's his name? Green Goblin, his character, was he killed in the last movie?
I was trying to remember that too, because they just offhandedly mentioned that, by the way, he's dead. I think he was alive at the end of the first one, and I think they just killed him off screen because Dafoe was like, why would I do this movie?
Yeah, so no Willem Dafoe doing anything. Not that he was great in the first movie, but no Willem Dafoe. Okay, so the kid can control fish, and he's like, I'm so proud. You have a power to control fish. And you're like, oh.
That'll come in handy.
I thought about it, and I was like, because they get to the point in the movie where you're like, oh, now's the point at which the kid is going to control fish. What does he do instead, Tony?
He controls his dad? I mean, or just talks to him telepathically with the same way he talks to the fish. I don't really know. But instead of controlling fish that we set up earlier, he just sends his weird sonic waves into his daddy's face. I don't
know. Good setup and payoff. Okay, Arctic base. Black Manta's up in the Arctic. I don't know if he's in the Arctic, the Antarctic.
I don't know.
He's up, I think, in the North Pole, looking for tech because his suit is broken and he can't fix it unless he gets some more tech. Then we meet Dr. Shin, who's played by Randall Park. That's him, right? The funny guy, Randall Park.
Yes, and we met him. Was it the post-credit scene of the first one that he was helping? In the first one, he's helping Manta at the end of the movie. Yeah. So we meet him then.
Yes, well, the DC universe does not do him much favors.
Well, he shouldn't even be here because he's in the MCU, right? Is it just me that gets confused by that? Like, you can be in lots of movies. I'm fine with that. But those feel like non-compete clauses to me. I feel like that has to be in the contract somewhere. Don't work for DC.
It seems weird because it's like he's not really, you're not like, this would be your number one choice for this character.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Kind of funny guy hanging out, like he's got no comic foil. Doesn't even ever make jokes. He's just kind of like, I'm kind of funny, weird, but I'm also the scientist.
Yeah, he doesn't even totally fit in the world.
I mean, you used to give this kind of thing, Jack Black would play this, but he'd be the hacker and he'd be number 3 or number 4. He'd be Tony's hair.
I'll do it. I'll do it for way less money than Randall will. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do it for almost free.
See, almost. You'd be a flunky.
A what?
A flunky. Like you can't be the scientist, Tony.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. It can't be a scientist. Look at this. Well, it's MC squared. Please. Can't be a scientist. Okay. Everyone would buy that.
Could be a cut rate scientist. Got it.
I went to community college and took a biology class.
So they're searching. They find a crack. Manta goes down in there. There's a tentacle monster. He finds a 2-part trident that then sticks together, even though I don't know if it's broken or if
it doesn't look broken at all. Yeah, so it just looks like it comes in 2.
So sometimes you fight with 2, sometimes you fight with 1. I don't know. And we meet the green guy. The green guy is the bad guy, and he's all like, I'm in your brain now, and I've got a plan.
We have to talk about that. I am confused.
What are you confused about?
It feels like sometimes you can touch the trident, and not be mind controlled. But then other times,
when was that?
You are mind controlled.
I don't think anybody ever touched the spear and didn't have him in their mind. You're not exactly mind controlled. He's just, you're a little bit mind controlled. Medium.
Because when Orm does it at the end of the movie, like, he's gone. There is no Orm. It's just a bad guy. What was his name? Kablox?
I have no idea what his name is.
All right, doesn't matter. The bad guy. So I'm confused but when Manta does it, like, he's not taken over. Like, Manta does want to kill Aquaman.
Well, because they're in the same freeway lane,
But then the first time that Patrick Wilson, I'm just going to call him Patrick Wilson, Orm confuses me.
I love Orm. It's the one name in this thing I like.
When Orm picks it up earlier, he just gets flashes of the bad guy's memory.
He gets a history, but he's still in Manta. He hasn't left Manta yet, so he's still connected.
But how?
To Manta.
Whoa! What do you mean he hasn't left? Because it's when you touch the trident.
No, it's not. That's when a new transfer can occur. But if Manta drops the trident, he doesn't like go, whoa, dude's not in my brain anymore.
But that's why I'm confused. Because he's not
dude, like once you pick up the trident, it can make a connection. Yeah,
but it doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. But then again, when they're fighting about it at the end, he's like, "Let it go," and he lets it go, and then the connection breaks.
And then it's gone.
This doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't make any sense, but you're over there trying to defend it, and I'm getting more and more confused. These rules, you got to have a set of rules, Dan.
There's no rules.
Don't tell me there's no rules.
Tony, just like in life, there's no rules. Except
there are tons of rules in life.
Those are suggestions.
Suggestions. Listen, I can't fly, can I?
Okay, 5 months later, global warming's on the television. The council's like, oh yeah, we got more of the plague. And I'm like, this is what it's going to be about. It's going to be about the plague. And what it's going to be is there's a plague amongst the Atlanteans. And then it's going to be this thing that's comparable to global warming. And then he's going to have to solve the plague.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Nope. That's
what is the plague?
Well, I think that was the plot line they were going to go for until someone stupid said we should make it global warming instead.
You think that plot line still exists somewhere in a script form? Okay,
absolutely.
I see.
I can't swear to it, but I'll swear to it.
But I will guarantee it.
The council's like, this is caused by the surface. And then he's like, we should reveal ourselves. And then they're like, we should probably eradicate the surface. And you're just like,
let's just nuke them.
We're just going to somehow destroy the surface, which we all know there's way more surface people than there are underwater people, since no one has ever seen an underwater people.
Because here's another thing about this movie, Dan, is they treat the ocean like it's space. There seems to be almost different planets. There are different governments everywhere like this, and they travel like it's space. This is space. This is space and water.
Wait a second. Don't we have a lot of different governments up here on the land?
We do.
And then say the word but.
But.
That means we do. I don't, but that's irrelevant. Okay.
No,
how is it completely irrelevant?
Dan, okay. We don't take our spaceships and go fly in. It's space.
Don't we have?
You can't tell me
cars? Do we have cars?
You can't tell me you watched this movie and you weren't like, oh, are we in space now? Nope, we're still in the water. Because I felt that way a bunch.
No, I think most of the time they're in the water.
They're always in the water. I'm saying I felt like, I can't talk to you when you're like this, Dan. Okay? You are indignant.
I know what you're saying is it felt like there are a bunch of alien races that have grown up on different planets.
I was trying to remember in the first one, are there a bunch of different species down there that he talks to?
Yeah, there's the 6 tribes. Yeah, and there's the big guys with the clamp claws, and then there's the tentacly guys. Yeah, there's all the different ones. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because he has to unite them in the first one. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. The 7 kingdoms and whatnot.
Yeah, so that's good times.
I don't like it.
Okay, we go back to the lighthouse. He's hanging out with his dad, and he's like, no one listens to me. I'm missing William Dafoe.
Missing Willem Dafoe. That's how I felt too.
The dad gives us the log line of the movie, which is like what he's got to deal with. The most heroic thing is not giving up. I was like, here we go. We're not, who knows? Maybe not. We're doing the plague. That's what we're doing. We're doing never give up.
Nah.
Do we do never give up, Tony?
Well, I mean, he keeps going. So I guess in that sense, he doesn't give up, but he doesn't have to struggle with not giving up, if that's what you're asking.
So now we go back to Black Manta. Now he's dressed like Black Panther. He's dressed exactly like Black Panther, sitting on a throne.
Yeah, like Dan,
Black
he
Panther.
is.
It's the weirdest costuming choice I've ever seen in any movie I've ever seen. I'm just like, why are you dressing him like Black Panther? Like, what?
Well,
I don't
because
understand.
they want to draw parallels to Disney as often as they can.
It's so
Star
weird.
Wars, Black Panther. They literally do what I call the Iron Man moment. I think everyone probably calls it now. Like, he
What's
has
up?
his Iron Man moment at the end of the movie where he's like, "I'm Aquaman," which is dumb because everyone already knows you're Aquaman. You don't wear a costume, guy. Everyone knows you're Aquaman. You're there. You're talking to. It doesn't matter.
Okay, so Black Manta, he's got his new ship, he's got his new crew, he's got stealth mode. They're going to go
Yeah.
steal some orichalcum, which we're finding out is this special fuel that's in this secret vault. They have they have 3 octo ships, which pretty cool. Little ship with one person in it, and then it has these tentacles, and it can go and it can fly and it can jump and it can grab. Okay, 15 minutes. They go through the tunnel. They load the bars. The alarms goes up. Battle stations. And then wait, what happens then? I wrote then they head to Atlantis. And then why do they take their ship to Atlantis after stealing the orichalcum?
I don't know, because what I wrote down is, are they stealing Macaulay Culkin?
It's orichalcum.
And that's it.
No, they load the bars, and for whatever reason, then they attack Atlantis. And they get warned.
Why not?
And then Atlantis has a cannon, and then they have a cannon, and then they shoot the bad guys shoot their cannon at the other cannon, and then that cannon shoots down and shoots a bunch of civilians. And then Mom and Mira are like, we got to protect Atlantis. So they come out on shark ships, and they fly through the night market. Then Mom gets sonic cannon. Then Mira fights Manta. Then she gets super zapped by his laser beams. And then Aquaman decides to show up. We don't know where he was. And he's
just
like,
hanging.
Get away from my burn up wife. And then the army comes, and then they shoot something. So a train falls into the night market. Then he has to stop the train. And then they sonic cannon. Then Aquaman decides to go after them. And then they sonic cannon him. And then they just leave.
Yeah, because it's just like a regular Tuesday for them. Just a battle for no reason.
There's a big battle, which doesn't really make any
there's
sense.
A couple of just big battles. That's how I describe them. Just like a fight for, just because I think they feel like we're getting bored. So they decide, well, we got to throw an action scene here. It's page 34 of the script. We got to have an action scene.
Wouldn't it have been good if they just made the breaking into the orichalcum vault like the
exciting
scene where you make it a Black Manta's, and we're like, wow, this is exciting. Black Manta, he knows what he's doing, and he just did a lot of bad things.
Sure, make him competent and bad. You know what I mean? Evil, not bad. Bad at evil.
Evil. So boom, we get that. We throw in the somber music, and we find out that Aquaman, because of things, has been stripped of his power.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that's what they said. The council stripped him. He's no longer king. We're in charge.
Okay. When you said power, I thought you meant like he's human. No. They took away his responsibilities as king. Yeah,
took away his responsibilities. And you're like, okay.
Now, why would they never have taken away Orm's responsibilities? Because he was like supposedly doing a really bad job.
No, he's a super good king.
Are you sure?
He says he was a super good king.
Well, of course, yeah, because all bad kings would admit to that. Be like, you know what? My bad, everybody. I'm sorry I murdered all of you. My fault. I don't know. I'm just asking,
So
if there was a council that oversees these people and can literally just be like, you know what? No, you're not the king anymore, which isn't how kings work. I don't know.
Not typically. Okay, so his mom then explains to him about orichalcum and that it causes greenhouse gases.
Yeah, what?
So they locked it all away in these 12 vaults, and he's like, 12 vaults. I'm like, here's the plot. There's 12 vaults. You're going to have to stop the vaults. And then she's like, nope, they already broke into 11 of them. This was the 12th. He's done with the orichalcum vaults. You're like, well,
you know what the problem is, Dan, is this week you were just hyper gullible. That seems to be the problem. You think every little thing that they dangle, you're leeching onto right away.
I always do. I'm a sucker. I'm like, there's the plot. I'm looking for the theme and the plot.
Then they're just throwing red herring after red herring fish jokes. Thank you very much.
He's got his fish jokes. Okay, so they're gonna. They've been doing this for the last 5 months.
For a long time.
What they should have said was, he should have said, what's this with the vaults? And they should have been like, well, you're off raising your stupid kid. They raided all the vaults.
Yep.
And then we're going to strip you of being king. You should have been hauled in front of the council, and they'd be like, well, you're raising your stupid. That's the whole beginning of the movie should be him raising his stupid kid.
Yep. Just avoiding responsibility. Yep. And then they're like, well, bro, you're king. You're bad. Tis. And then he has to learn to do both.
Yes.
Balance. Work-life balance. Aquaman 2.
Work-life. That'd be good. Okay. So then mom's like, they're heating up the planet. There's not much time. And then he's all like, we need Orm because Orm knows Manta. Let me put on my camo suit. Well, he did, because Orm worked with him in the first movie, I think. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like a little. Not like a ton. They weren't like best friends. They were just like, they both had a common goal, so they were using each other. You know what I mean?
And if the person that knows the most about like the seedy people in the world gonna be the king of Atlantis,
who never got stripped of his power, that's all I'm saying.
The squarest guy on the planet. So they give him the camo suit, and then they do the callback to the first movie. His buddy is going to be Topo, the octopus drummer from the first movie, because everybody loved the octopus drummer. So their whole idea is, we're going to be super clever. We're going to go Morbin time and make his partner that he takes with him the octopus drummer. And you were just
I did not even remember that. I was just confused the whole time. I was like, should I know what this creature is? And it turns out I should have.
When we watched the other movie, I said the only thing I really liked in that movie was the octopus drummer.
So basically what you're saying is this entire movie is your fault. They saw what you said and they were like, let's give it more screen time.
The problem is that is what they did. They didn't listen to me, but other people made a similar comment.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
My wife and I were sitting there. We were talking about how these movies get made, and they get made by a very dumb committee that makes a bunch of, like one guy's got like, it's going to be a plague. One guy's like, our talcum balls. And one guy's this, one guy's that. They all say these different things. Then they all get stewed into this thing. And it was with Morbius. Everyone was joking on it, and then they were like, it's Morbin time. And they got everybody in the studios thinking that people gave a shit about Morbius. They brought Morbius back to theaters, I'm sure at great expense.
Oh,
and
definitely.
Made $0 because they thought internet meme clowning meant they liked the thing, and it wasn't. We were making fun of your dumb movie, and you rewarding us by putting this octopus in there is literally the dumbest thing in the world you could do. That said, I like the octopus a lot.
Having said all these negative things, best part of the movie, I loved it dearly.
It's the second best part of the movie. I loved it. He was great.
Wait, what's the best part of the movie?
Orm he's the best.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. Then we agree. Okay. Yeah,
by far, he's the best. He's the thing. I mean, Jason Momoa is always Jason Momoa, and you're in this movie, as opposed to the first movie, you got pretty, because he was one of the writers on the movie. He had some jokes and some stuff and some characterizations that you were like, I would like to see this movie. In the middle of this movie, it's not working.
Yes, there are moments where I was like, this is the Momoa we wanted all along, and then he's not there the whole time. And then there's a moment later in the film, which I'm just going to talk about now, when him and Orm are holding the trident, and it gets like slightly emotional.
It was a good moment.
It was really nice. I was like, guys, what are we doing? This is nice. This is like a great moment. Acted very well on both parties, which is not something that I thought I would ever say. I was really, I don't know. It's disappointing to see what the glimpses of what could have been.
Yeah. And I mean, what really should have happened is it should have been Orm's mission, and then Aquaman had to go with him. And so Orm should have been in charge, and Aquaman would have been like, "Oh, he's pissed off at him." You know, it's like, or whatever. Nope. There's ways you could have massaged this buddy cop relationship that would have been beautiful. And then at the end, when the two brothers come to a thing, and you're like, "Wow, these two guys get to be brothers," and because you wanted it at the end of that first movie, you're like, "Okay." And they had the good instinct to realize that's what it was. But there's just too many other fish in the sea. Okay, we need Orm. So he's in the desert. He brings the octopus. He has to fight a bunch of zombies, and they fight zombies. He breaks them out. They don't give him water, so he's skinny. And they break him out, and then he gets the water, and then he becomes a tough guy again. They have to ride scorpions or centipedes, and he gets water, and then they fight. And it's good. I can't hear you. Still
I'm sorry, I was muted that whole time. I have to say something, Dan.
We should probably do that like when I'm talking. We should just generally mute you like that. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was nice and safe. It's a safe space for you to just say your opinions and thoughts.
Okay, what do you got?
Remember when he got his suit? Back in the previous scene, the camo suit, and they pull it out and they make a joke about it being so small.
Yeah, what was that joke?
I don't know, because then he puts it on and it's exactly the same fit as his normal suit.
It's a funny
joke. It's not smaller.
It's a good joke.
It's a fine joke that
he should have had to pull it on like.
Great. Make me watch him stretch it out or something. You just do this joke where it's small, but then it fits exactly the same as every other clothes he wears in the movie. It doesn't make any sense.
You know, maybe Orm can look at his package and be like, "What's going on down there? There's nothing there." He's all like, "This suit, man. It's
the suit. I don't know. It's the pleats on the pants." All right, I'll go back on mute now. Thanks, Dan.
Oh, good. Okay, so then they ride in a sea car and they make jokes, and you're like, okay, I guess. Manta's, we go to the Manta's home base. It's a refinery. They're refining things, and it's going to heat up the world.
Yeah.
Then we go to the Sunken Citadel, where we have another band because everybody, talked about the band, clowned on the band. So we put another band in here.
So let's do 4 more bands.
We have the CGI King dude, and they just want to know where Orm is. And then there's a fight, and he puts a helmet on him and airs him, and then he punches it, and then he unairs him, and Orm does stuff, and then 3 guys go after them, and then Topo just squirts them with ink, and they easily escape because of Topo's ink.
Great. Yeah. There's a really nice joke at some point.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out.
I didn't write down any of the jokes, so yeah.
I know. There's a good one where they're traveling at some point, Aquaman and Orm.
Yeah.
And Orm asks if he has any water, and Aquaman goes, "Yeah. Well, no, I drank it on the way." It's very nice.
A good joke. That was
really nice. I laughed really hard
from the prison, and he hasn't had any water in forever, and you're just like, "Ooh, that was a funny joke."
It's good. Yeah. So there you go. One good joke.
Jason Momoa can tell a joke.
Of course he can. So why aren't we doing it? Why don't we lean into the things that he's good at? We know he's good. It's not like he's a new face, Dan. We know what he can do. It's
just like when they made The Rock Black Adam. You're just like, why are we doing this?
Oh boy, Black Adam. Oof.
Why isn't
more DC goodness?
Why isn't The Rock playing like Plastic Man?
Great.
That'd be funny.
I would watch it.
Okay, so they get to the island. There's a volcano spewing green smoke. They arrive there because they swam fast and they're tired. Wait, weren't they in a ship? I thought they were riding in a ship.
I mean, they definitely were at one point.
But they were joking, and now they're here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, because they went to they went to the island. Yeah, it's okay. Forget it. They got the information to go to the next island, so they must have left their ship.
Was that from Jabba the Hutt?
Jabba the Hutt. So yeah, okay. Jabba the Hutt. We just did Jabba the Hutt.
Okay.
Jabba the Hutt sends them to the volcano. The volcano, they're walking, they're talking about food, and, Orm's never had any surface food, and then he gets Orm to eat a cockroach. That was very funny.
Okay, but here's my question.
Yeah.
Was it a joke?
Oh, it was totally a joke. They didn't play it right because they didn't back it up. They didn't finish. They sort of set it up, and you knew it was a joke, but they didn't complete the cycle.
But then he didn't treat it like a joke. There was no like, haha, gotcha.
He should have eaten and gone like, surface food is terrible. And then he's like, you'll get used to it. And then he slaps him on the back, and we see him smile and laugh. And because then, of course, we can structure a joke when we're sitting here because, Hollywood guys, when they're doing work, they can't structure a joke. That's impossible to structure a joke.
It's impossible. Those working conditions are terrible. You don't even know.
It's like, and that's the thing. A movie lives on its jokes.
Yeah. Dan, did you watch the post-credit scene?
I think so, where he ate the hamburger.
Yeah, and then he puts the cockroach on the hamburger, which is a callback to a joke.
Wait, he did? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I might have just saw him eating the hamburger, and then I wrote down, Orm eats a hamburger. So
he takes a bite of hamburger, and he's like, and then there's a cockroach on the table. He puts it on the burger, and then eats it, which is a great callback, but you have to deliver the first joke properly. Because now he's taking real food and spicing it up with the fake food from the joke, but it doesn't make any sense because it wasn't really a joke. I don't know. Okay. It was disappointing. But also, just a real quick note, they added so much crunch sound when he eats the cockroach. Sure. It sounds ridiculous.
Of course it did.
Horrible sound design.
Okay, so then they have to run away from big mutant insects because the orichalcum, which has been on this thing for like 5 months, has made everything giant.
Just like the green ooze from Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Turtles 2. So they run, and then Orm is running with his arms behind him. This
is my favorite part of the movie.
Well, talk about it.
You can talk about it. I don't want to steal it.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, great. Thanks, Stan. So he's running with his hands down, and he's running all awkward. And Aquaman's like, what are you doing? He's like, I've never run before. And then he just tells him how to run. He's like this. And then he runs right past him. Aquaman says, oh, shit, slow down. It's a very funny moment. It's a great character because they paid attention. Like, yeah, he's not used to being on land. Great. Let's play with that a little more. Nope, we get 2 jokes.
Yep. So then he has to knock over a statue, the statue says world's about building bridges. He knocks over the statue. It's a bridge so they can escape the insects. And then he's like, it's a metaphor. And he's like, now it's real. And you're like, oh, this movie's about building bridges between things.
Hook, line, and sinker. Dan Goodsell.
That's what the movie's about. And they're like, we mention it again later, but it's not about it.
But it doesn't mean anything. I have to say something about this scene. Before he knocks down the bridge, they're standing on the edge and looking down below. And Orm says, we need to jump, we'll survive. Which is ridiculous because he just admitted he doesn't even know how to run on land. So how does he know how gravity works if he jumps off a cliff? I'm waiting for an answer, Dan. You're going to need to explain this to me. Don't give me that face.
We'll fix it in post.
Fix it in post.
So they sneak into the thing. They punch people. They find Randall Park. He surrenders to them. And he's like, I'm a scientist. I'm not proud of what I've done. And Orm's in charge now. And then boom. And then there's a big fight. There's Octopod doing the thing. And then they have to work together to beat it. But that's not the lesson. And then Manta comes out there. One punch. I think he knocks out Orm.
He does.
Oh, no, he knocks out Aquaman first, and then they fight, and then he zaps Orm, and then reinforcements arrive. Oh, because when they got to the island, they sent Topo back to get reinforcements. And then reinforcements show up, and then they shoot shoot hundreds of missiles into and blow up the volcano because that's always how you solve industrial waste problems is blow it up. It'll be fine.
Shoot a rocket at it.
That won't cause more shit to go into the atmosphere. It'll never happen.
That's why I burn all my trash. I just go to the backyard, start a little fire, and let it go into the sky.
Then the bad guys leave on the sub, and then I wrote Mira saves Aquaman. I guess Aquaman probably goes after it and gets cannoned again. Didn't he already get cannoned once in this movie?
Yeah, I don't know.
So he gets Sonic cannoned again, and then somehow Mira is able to save him.
Yeah,
by saving him.
Because she shows up every once in a while.
Remember, she was burnt to a crisp last time we saw her, which was literal 2 or 3 days ago. Okay.
Yeah, at most. I got confused. When did Randall Park get left behind? Because he was going to come with the good guys.
They're up in the sort of command center above the refinery.
Yeah.
They knock everybody out, and then he's like, let me tell you some words, and then they get both blown out of that place when the door explodes, and he somehow survives that. Doesn't make any sense.
Even though he's not super powered.
Should not have survived that, I don't think.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
Okay, so what happens is now we have a conversation because Orm had touched the trident during the fight, and he's all
but was totally fine. Didn't get mind controlled at all.
He was like, "I saw the Lost Kingdom," and then I think Aquaman's mom goes like, "Oh, let me tell you the whole backstory. That's the Lost Kingdom,"
which is like this is almost the transition between the second and third acts, and we stop for like 6 minutes of exposition.
It's not enough. I could have used 20 minutes of exposition.
So right now in the movie?
Basically, there was this bad place, and then they turned themselves into zombies for power, and then they fought with Atlantis, and Atlantis won, and so Atlantis then froze them, and then with the ice caps melting, that means you're going to get access, and then if they get some royal DNA, they can wake them all up. Well, where's some extra royal DNA laying around? The baby. So they go and steal the baby, and sort of don't kill the grandpa. They sort of
they super don't kill him because he's just fine at the end of the movie.
No, they say we're going to keep you alive. You're going to be alive enough so you can see the bad things happen, but we're going to kind of hurt you some.
No. What he says is, I'm going to keep you alive so he can watch you die.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't ever kill him.
That doesn't
or
happen.
Come back. He should be alive just enough for him to come back and then see him die, right?
Yeah. Or you could put him on the top of the lighthouse, and then if just the wrong breeze happens when he gets out of the water, he goes like this. I did that. I made the breeze. Or like a string, like a thin string. That's what you do. So when he crosses over the threshold, the string pulls him out of the thing, and he falls to his death. It's like, you shouldn't have stepped on that string.
Shouldn't have done it. Booby trap. Gotcha.
Oh, or booby trap with he steps inside there, and then goes shh. He sees his dad sitting there. Dad's like, no. And Arthur's like, I stepped on the booby trap.
Boom. Dead pieces everywhere. Hits him in the face. Oh, yeah. It's good.
That would have been harsh.
Yeah, instead, Dad's fine. Dad's just totally fine.
So they're like, we got to go to Antarctica because Randall Park sends them a signal because and it says on his screen, sending signal to Aquaman, signal sent to Aquaman.
I don't know.
It was like the most, if anybody were to walk by, they're like, what you doing there? Oh, you calling Aquaman?
Nothing. I'm not doing anything. Don't worry about it.
And it's so terrible because those are the scenes you put in a movie to make it exciting, where you're like, is he going to be able to pull it off?
Sure.
No, he just goes.
Yeah, I mean, he pulled it off. Were you excited? Just like you thought you would be? No.
Oh, I was never excited during this movie. Never did I care about a battle. Never did I wonder if everyone was going to be okay. I never worried about anything. And I'll worry about anything. God,
That's true. You're a worry wart, as they say.
So they're like, we don't have any defense against the cannon when we go after him. And then Aquaman's like, I have an idea. So the bad guys get there. They shoot a missile to open up the passage. The two octopods that are still working leave, and the missile is. Oh, the two octopods. He says, "Let me do this again. One missile will do the trick," says the bad guy.
Mm.
They go out in the octopods, then they fire the missile, and he's like, "Too late!" And I'm like, "Oh shit! All the bad guys are going to come to life." And I'm like, "No, it's just too late that we're going to be able to go inside."
Right. Yeah.
So Aquaman, not surprisingly, called the whales to stop the cannon.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
Shouldn't he have called whales that were like in front of the ship and had those whales stop the ship?
Sure. I mean, if you wanted to make the movie shorter.
There it is. I would like to make the movie shorter. And then the whales look at the ship and like maybe do their echolocation or whatever whales do, and they disable the cannon. Cannon.
Yeah.
The cannon shorts out and the whole ship blows up.
Yeah, well, because the cannon is connected to the reactor. That's how ships work.
And I laughed. I laughed out loud because of how funny that was.
I laughed.
But the whales didn't, usually if you're going to have a whale, it's going to pummel things and do whale stuff.
Yeah, because it's a big old whale. That's going to use its body to crush you.
And it was every breed of whale. There was even like one killer whale right in front who's all like, this is my shit.
Sure. Free Willy.
So then they have to climb the tower. There's an army of monsters. There's a throne room. I wrote Orm. As they're climbing, Orm helps Dolph Lundgren. Dolph Lundgren's like only gave Orm like an axe and didn't give him a gun. And then Orm proves himself, and so then the king's like, "Oh, here's a gun for you."
It was a weird moment though, because they're looking. Dolph Lundgren's asking for help, and Patrick Wilson does the death stare, and then like smiles. Yeah, he does that.
Disappears.
And it disappears, and it's like, wait, I don't even understand. That doesn't say either thing to me. It doesn't say yes, I'm going to leave you, and it doesn't say yes, I'm going to help you. It's just like a really weird moment. I don't know.
It was weird. Throne room. I wrote, okay. Then they're like, give me the child, and then I wrote bomb, and then I wrote Aquaman versus Manta, and then I wrote Mira shows up and saves the baby. And then Orm catches the trident, and then he gets possessed, and he's all like,
which didn't happen the first time. Just gonna throw it out there one more time.
Well, maybe it could be like, the first time it's like you have your defenses, and your defenses are lessened, and then the second time it's like a cold.
So your antibodies aren't holding up. Okay, yes. I see what's going on.
Your anti-necrous monster antibodies. So he turns green, and then Aquaman goes over there and he grabs it, and they're all like, "Oh!" He's all like, "You're in there, brother!" And then Orm lets go.
It was a nice moment.
It's a nice moment. It was like, this is what and this is what the movie should be about. It should be about these two brothers coming to terms with each other. That should be, that should be the beginning. That should be Act 2, right? And then this is the end, where the two brothers are now this fucking team, and we're going to teamwork the hell out of everything, and it's going to be freaking cool.
Cue the rock music,
right? That's what we want. Yep. We want to see these two guys working together. I toss you the trident, you toss me the trident. I go trident.
Right.
To you, I go trident. Boom. You go boom.
Trident.
Tony tells a joke that Dan makes people understand that Tony's joke, although not funny, could be considered funny when carefully crafted by Dan Goodsell.
Once I explain it, you'll all get it better.
Okay, let's see. So then he hits Aquaman, bang, Aquaman hits this thing, he bleeds, and that frees the bad guys.
Which is kind of, it reminds me of like the Pirates of the Caribbean when they're like, we need her blood, and then they just cut her hand, and she's like, that's it? And they're like, yeah, that's all we need. But it's kind of like that, but why are they trying to kill him?
That was good though in Pirates, right?
No, that's what I mean. Like, that's a wonderful way to do it because they make a little joke out of it. This is like, we need to kill you or your baby. And then it's like, you just need a little blood spray from the mouth and we're done. Like, that's dumb. Make a joke of it at least, please.
And considering how much in this movie, when you really look at this movie, there are many things that are very lifted from a lot of other movies, like not in a good way.
No, it's all cobbled together from better movies. Other than Star Wars, which is trash, Dan.
Star Wars is trash?
I was just trying to see if you were paying attention.
I'm always paying attention, Tony.
Always? No way.
Really, I'm terrible at paying attention. Then the guy's, I live again! And then I think Aquaman just throws a trident at him and he blows up.
Well, yeah, because they throw the black trident or the green one, and he catches it, and then he throws kind of like Robin Hood does with the arrows, where he hits an arrow and then hits another arrow into the arrow. He does that move and splits the other trident down the middle and then stabs him. I honestly don't know.
Now,
he blows up. Yeah.
When that happens, did it take you a while to realize that it was the Robin Hood joke? Robin Hood bit?
No, that was instantaneous for me.
Oh, okay. I about halfway through it, and I was like, "Oh, I see. His trident is destroying the other trident." That's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, I was right on it, lickety split. One, mostly because I love Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. If anyone's wondering which is the best Robin Hood,
total garbage movie.
I can't believe Kevin Costner, accent aside, is wonderful.
I love Kevin. I love me some Kevin Costner. I love
me too.
No Way Out. Love that movie. He's great.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm the original Waterworld guy. I liked it when it came out.
I still have never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it? It's pretty good.
I've never seen it. I believe that I would enjoy it a lot. I really do.
I mean, it's goofy and dopey, but he kind of plays a giant dick.
Okay. You know what? I might like that, actually. That sounds right up my alley.
Okay. And then everything starts falling down like it always does. And
then what happens, Dan?
He goes, and Manta's like clinging, I'm going to die. And then Aquaman's like, this time I'm going to save you. Last time I'm like, let the sea kill you, but this time I'm going to save you. And then Manta's like, fuck you, you can't save me. Oh, I'd rather fall to my death. You're like,
it's a really weird moment. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Did we really need that? Couldn't we have Manta like crawl for something and try and grab something and then have a big brick just fall on it? I don't know. It was weird.
It was super weird. Super weird. And then it gets even better because then Aquaman and Orm are running away because everything's falling. Aquaman stops mid-running away, looks up and sees a part of the building crumble and goes, let's get out of here. What were you already doing? You're mid-running escape right now and you stop to tell other people that we're leaving? Stupid. So dumb.
King Dolph Lundgren has gotten in one of the octopods and he's like going like this, making it work. He's figured out how to drive this car.
He knew pretty much immediately. So good for him.
And then he picks up somebody and saves them. And then Topo's there and the magic seahorse is there. I love the seahorse. That seahorse they used to have in Super Friends. Aquaman always had that in the Super Friends cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, the Super Friends is like a cartoon from the 60s. Pretty sure.
Not at all. From the 70s, Tony.
Is it the 70s? Damn it.
That came right after the 60s. So
all right, I was close. It's old.
Randall Park, who was a large part of causing all the problems, gets a kiss from Mira.
Yeah, what? Why? I don't even remember him doing something to redeem him.
He told them where the baby was. He set the signal that told them where the baby was. That's pretty important. They wouldn't have known where to go. Except, of course, they knew exactly where the kingdom was, so they would have known exactly
where to go. Yeah, they were going either way, let's be honest.
They could have just asked all the whales, right? He could have just been like, hey, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. The brothers shake a hand. Orm gives a speech about leadership and building bridges. Then we get the news that the Atlanteans are revealing themselves. Oh, Orm has to leave because everyone's still mad at him because he was a bad king.
It's weird.
I still think they should have just made him king now. That would have been nice.
I mean, because he's a better king. If we're being honest, he's a better leader, and I don't know. None of it makes any sense. Also, like, I know they said they were going to send him back to jail for some reason, which is ridiculous because he just helped save the whole world. But is really then telling him he can't come back to Atlantis? Is that even better? That's his home. He can never come home?
I don't know, man.
Just send him back to prison. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. The news is like the Atlanteans have revealed themselves. They come out. Aquaman gives a speech to 20 people on a weird lawn about.
And then does his Iron Man moment.
I'm Aquaman, baby.
Which everyone, first of all, you dress like Aquaman. Everybody knows who you are. You are addressing the nation as Aquaman, leader of Atlantis. You don't have to say, I'm Aquaman. We know who you are.
Isn't he in the Justice League? Didn't he already
of course
Justice
he's in
League?
The Justice League. Yes, he had a different suit in the Justice League, so maybe that's the problem.
Same hair, same beard,
same hair, same sweet bod.
And then the best scene in the movie where Orm eats a cheeseburger. I'm like, Orm.
With a bug on it. Don't forget the bug.
I missed the bug. I
know you did.
Making my notes.
You missed the second best joke of the movie.
So this, I mean, was this a painful movie to watch? No. Was it stupid? Yes. Was it fun? Unfortunately, not that fun.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that fun. It was colorful, but yet not as colorful as the first one. You know?
I think the first one we might have spent a little more time developing. This movie was just like, we need to get in 1,000 set pieces, and like him killing the bad guy at the end he kills the bad guy within like a minute of him coming to life.
Yeah.
The bad guy doesn't even get in any swings. He's dead before he even could say, I'm going to do something else. Yeah, it's kind of weak.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough stuff, Manta.
Weak villain sauce. Oh, Manta. I don't want to talk about Manta. Manta is that poor guy. I mean, maybe that guy's a good actor. I have no idea, but he is not well served in this movie.
No. It's worse in this movie than in the first one, I think. He's very... I don't really remember the first one, let's be honest. But he does nothing in this movie.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's in charge of a refinery.
Yeah. Which is a great job, by the way. We're not making fun of that.
Anything else to say about this this really great movie?
No, I didn't like this movie, Dan. I don't like it. I don't need to talk about it.
I went back and rewatched most of the new Spider-Verse movie, like I do every couple of weeks.
Okay. I still haven't watched it.
The movie's so good. And everything in that movie is predicated on the soundtrack. And
sure.
Superhero movies have to have incredible soundtracks.
They sure do.
Drive the action and tell us how we're feeling. And, they really have to carefully shepherd us through all these complex emotions that are hopefully going on in the movie. And this movie, they did Get Out on the Highway, looking for adventure, whatever the glory.
Yeah.
And you're like, there wasn't even like a good set piece where you're like, good set piece to this song.
I mean, the silver lining to that is there's also no complex emotions. So you weren't, you didn't feel astray. You know what I mean?
You never had to feel emotions while watching this movie. That's a thing you can say about this movie. Well, Tony, tell us about something you might have liked this week.
You're not going to like my answer, Dan. But yesterday, which by the way was
a colorful insect on the ground. It was colorful.
You think that I would like an insect? I don't even like the outdoors. All right. I'm not going to like an insect. No, thank you. When they come into my house, which is a lot, by the way, we have a real bug problem here. I don't know if I've told you that before. I kill a lot of bugs and I do not enjoy it. Maybe because I also feel guilty.
Maybe it should be Tony, you get to complain about something in your life, and then I'll talk about something I liked in my life.
Well, I wasn't going to complain about the bugs. You brought up the bugs, and it's a deep-seated issue with me, all right? I don't like bugs, but I also don't like killing bugs. It's really sad. But I'm also not the guy that's going to put them scoop them into a cup and bring them outside, because then they're going to come right back in. They wanted to come in the whole time. That's why they're in the house. They got to die. You know, it's very sad, but it has to happen. I apologize.
Tony's
Tony's
warmth and love just radiates out of him and calls
do you feel
the insects of the world to him. Come, my little ones, my minions.
I'm like the Ace Ventura for insects. All right, we're all one big happy family.
Okay, I'll let you tell your thing.
All I was going to say is yesterday was the third release of Disney Lorcana Into the Inklands. I got myself a booster box, and I'm halfway through opening that bad boy. I'm having a great time. I love this game, man.
Did you get a lot of good pulls?
Nope. It's been a pretty sad box so far. I'm going to be honest with you, but I still got half left, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling optimistic. But also, I've got another box coming on Monday, so just in case, I got a backup.
Oh. Well, I started watching the new live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, did that drop?
That dropped the first 8 episodes of season 1.
Oh boy!
It is a cartoon that I cherish.
Sure.
I think it is the best acted cartoon that has ever. Well, then again, the Spider-Verse, between it and the Spider-Verse, like these are two fantastic things. And I was like, oh man, I'm worried. I'm so very worried. And so I fired it up, watched the first episode. It's pretty dang good. It's pretty dang good. They changed a lot of stuff. Because
is that bothering you?
No, it's really good because they were like, because they have less time to work with, right? So they have to
of course, establish
character and establish relationships and do it and figure out how to get there. You're going to have to get there quicker because I think the first season was 20 episodes and they have 8 episodes. But they pretty much covered 3 episodes with episode 1. So you're like, okay. But all the actors are good. Are they gonna be as good as the cartoon actors? We'll have to see. But
sure.
This is episode 1. If everybody's good in episode 1, you're like, they might be great by episode 8.
Sure, when they actually have some emotional stuff to deal with, and once we know these characters and love them, I'm on board. I'm excited to see it. I didn't realize that it already dropped. We're behind,
And after watching Aquaman and there being nothing or very little, and you were just like, look at this show that took, there's tons of quiet moments where like it's not all battles because people like to see movies and TV shows where something is real. Yeah, we actually kind of do.
I don't know about that, Dan.
Kind of do. Well, Tony, after everybody leaves us a thumbs up, or a comment, or subscribes, you're going to tell them about the next movie we're going to be watching for next week.
Exactly. So let me give you 30 seconds to do those things.
30 seconds. We'll just be quiet. We'll be absolutely silent for 30 seconds.
Won't say a word. Now, so the next movie is something I've wanted to do for a while now. It's just, it seemed fun to me, and then it just got really bad reviews. And so I never ended up watching it. And it's officially streaming now on Paramount Plus. So now's the perfect time to do it. It's, of course, 2016's Monster Trucks.
This is supposed to be one of the worst movies ever.
Is it really that bad? I remember seeing the trailer and being like, this could be fun. And then it came out and everybody hated it. And so then I never watched it. And here we are.
Yeah, it's a monster invades his truck. And so it makes his truck be able to have tentacles.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't that be cool? I don't know. How is that? How do you screw that movie up? That sounds like a blast.
How do you mess that movie up? I don't know, Tony.
Well, we're going to find out. Time will tell.
The funny thing is, you at the beginning of Aquaman, you did all your little Aquaman jokes. At one point in this movie, Jason Momoa's Aquaman says, "Put a hook in it." So they thought about going for a bunch of hook,
which I wish they would have. I think that would have been more fun. They just have to embrace it. Yeah. Embrace the silly every once in a while.
Well, maybe in Aquaman 3 they'll have dune buggies and they'll just do a lot of crazy stuff.
Done?
What do you
Isn't
mean,
this
Aquaman
the end
3?
of the DCEU? Isn't this like the last movie in that universe?
What are you talking about? Really?
Yeah, I think that this is because now James Gunn is starting his with Superman Legacy next year.
So there's not going to be any continuity between.
No, it's a reboot. This is a reboot.
Oh, really?
It's confusing. It is very confusing because some people are staying in their characters, but then other people are not. So I am very confused on the whole thing.
Who's Superman?
To be honest,
who's Superman?
Superman is like some young idiot guy. Let me look it up. I don't know his name.
So we don't know. I mean, James Gunn.
His name is David Cornsweet.
That's not his name.
If I'm reading it phonetically, Cornsweet. He's of course. What's he from? Nothing I recognize right off the bat.
He's not from the CW.
He's not from the CW. How disappointing is that?
Wow. Okay. I mean, I saw that
I don't know.
They showed a picture of like James Gunn with the cast, and it was like 27 people. I'm like, you need 27
and that's
people
just
for a
Superman Legacy. That was like the read through for Superman Legacy, as far as I can tell.
Don't you just need Superman?
No. They also need Beast from the X-Men. He's playing Lex Luthor. What's his name again?
No,
the Vampire with Nicolas Cage.
Kelsey Grammer.
It's also a Nicholas Holt.
They're not
Nicholas Holt. Yeah,
not Kelsey Grammer.
No, not Kelsey Grammer. I love Kelsey Grammer.
That guy's going to play Lex Luthor. Is this going to be like? Is it going to be a teenage thing?
They're younger. Yeah, they're definitely younger. And we're angling, and by we, I mean, hopefully everyone, for Jensen to play Batman in this universe. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would really like it to happen.
I thought they're going to let the guy that made the Batman movie make another Batman movie.
Yes. So Reeves' Batman, completely separate. See, this is why the DCU is such a freaking mess, man. It's garbage. It is being run by idiots. But yeah, so Reeves' Batman trilogy is a standalone in its own universe. And then the DCU, which is the rebrand from DCEU, which it should have been DCU to begin with, but they're probably like, oh, it can't be like the MCU. But anyhow, is, from my understanding, like a clean sweep. We're starting all over again.
So Aquaman, Wonder Woman, everyone's given their walking papers. They're done.
I don't know about Aquaman. I do know Wonder Woman is done. Henry Cavill's done as Superman, obviously, and obviously Ben's not coming back for Batman. I know those things for sure. But it sounds like Blue Beetle might be keeping the role. Like, I don't know. It's all very confusing.
Good plan.
Good plan.
we were able to secure that Blue Beetle contract. Great.
And I feel like they probably would have kept Ezra Miller as Flash if he wasn't, or if they weren't such a problem. Because James Gunn was like, that's the best superhero movie ever made. And I think the guy who made that is making Batman Brave and the Bold for the James Gunn universe or something. He's doing a movie in the Gunn universe, which I assume is why he was trying to make the Flash seem so good. I don't know. It's already a mess, and it hasn't even begun.
Well, James Gunn. I do
love James Gunn.
I never watched that third Guardians.
Don't,
movie.
Dan.
No, I'm not going
don't do it.
There's not a lot of movies. I couldn't survive it, I don't think.
You would break down.
Yeah,
Shannon is not prepared for you to watch that movie.
Yeah, I couldn't watch that. That's horrible.
Yeah, I was in the theater just bawling my eyes out. So
yeah. Don't need to go there. I didn't like the second one much. I mean, it was okay, but whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. Fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing Monster Trucks.
Monster Trucks.
It's probably only like an hour and 27 minutes if we're lucky. So
it is an hour 44. Still better.
Better than.
It's probably hour 39 with credits, right? Yeah. Something like that.
Probably not a lot of credits because probably people did not want to have their name.
Only 8 people worked on this film.
So we'll be back next week talking about Monster Truck.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him!